Hey, family, welcome to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on a Wednesday. We've been doing this now for a while every Wednesday, and so you guys know what's up. As you come on, I need you to share this on your timeline, right? I need you to share this on your timeline, and I need you to tell a friend about Sergeant Dorsey Speaks live at 5. Hey, first timers through the door, I appreciate you. Hey, David, oh my God. Hello, welcome. Clint, welcome. You guys are the first through the door. I appreciate you for being so prompt and joining me here. Let me just say this. Do I have this on my public settings so that I can share this with other folks? Yeah. I want to share this on my other Facebook pages. Sergeant Dorsey Speaks is my one page. For those of you who are new and don't know about it, please go over to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks on Facebook, like it, follow me there. Also like and follow me on retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey on Facebook. To my YouTube family, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. Now that you're here, like, subscribe to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. And for those of you who don't know and you missing out, you know I have a podcast, right? Sergeant Dorsey Speaks is my podcast. Check it out, subscribe to it on the platform of your choice. What are all these faces about that I'm seeing on Facebook? What's up, you guys? Join in the conversation, if you will, and tell me what's up, what's going on, what is that all about? I'm not sure about these little emoticons you guys are sending me. Hey, Lisa, what's up? Sandra, hello, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, what's up? I'm seeing a lot of laughing faces and the real open mouth face. I don't know what that means, you guys. Is that a good thing? Are you happy to see me? Did you miss me? Are you having a good week? Are you excited because it's hump day? Are you ready for the week to be over? What's going on, family? Let me know. You're good, Lisa. Thanks. I'm happy to hear that. Over on the East Coast. Lots going on that I want to share with you. Facebook. I'm sorry, my podcast dropped yesterday, Tuesday. Every Tuesday, new content, you guys. And there's some things over there that you really don't want to sleep on. So I want you to be sure to check out my podcast and see what I had to say over there. I talked about some things that are going on in regards to some court rulings. And I'm just going to touch on it really briefly because I think it's important that I share this again here for those of you who won't go to my podcast. Listen, there was a federal judge that ruled that people can secretly record the police in public spaces. You know, I talked about this once before in Chicago. There's some vagueness in my mind about when you can and cannot record the police in Chicago. But in Boston, the police department is being told that no, folks can record you doing your business, officer, when you're in a public space. You have no expectation of privacy in Boston. And the federal judge over there has told the Suffolk County District DA that they need to make sure that their people are aware. So when officers start humming folks in, that's an LAPD term, y'all, humming folks to jail. That means putting you in jail on some BS because we can, right? So when folks start doing that over there or try to do that over there in Suffolk County, the judge wants the district attorney to let her people know that those are not cases that you will be filing. Now, I don't know if they're really gonna, everybody's gonna line up on that. The police are also being told that you cannot arrest folks because they're recording you doing your business in a public space. I don't know if they're going to get the word out to the people, you guys. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you things. Oh, you know what? Can you hear me okay? I just realized you guys are naughty. You didn't even tell me that I didn't have my mic on. I'm sure you can hear me better now, right? Let me know if you can hear me better now. Hey, James. Um, yeah, so this is really important that folks understand that they have the right to record and should not be arrested, right? But listen, just because, cops shouldn't arrest you don't mean that they won't. Right? That whole contempt of cop pissed me off, and there's a price to pay. And listen, I don't care if the DA rejects it on Monday, because I'm going to arrest that ass on Friday. You're going to be in jail all weekend long, right? You know how they get down. So the people over there in Boston, yeah, spread the word. It's all good. Record away. Record away. Okay, first kind of serious story that I want to share with you guys today is I know you've seen this going on social media. There's been a couple of deaths over in the Dominican Republic. There was a couple from Maryland that were found unresponsive in their bedroom at a hotel resort, and it said that they both died of some kind of a respiratory situation. Now look, I don't know how two people can have a respiratory situation at the same time, and everybody succumbs to this respiratory situation, but nonetheless, that's their story over in the DR, and they're sticking to it. And now it's been reported, now that we know about this couple who was over there vacationing, now we know that it's being reported that there was another lady. She's 41 years old. Her name is Miranda Shop Warner, and she was over in the DR staying in the exact same hotel that this couple was in. And this hotel, I'm gonna just tell you guys, because I know there's a lot of people that are concerned about going to the DR because they've got scheduled trips, and some folks have said that they can't get their money back, and so they're really concerned. I think if you go to the DR right now, you've got a trip planned, it's all good as long as you don't stay here. Bahia Principe Hotel, Bahia, Bahia. Principe, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm going to spell it because I think I'm butchering the name. It's Principe Hotel, and that is in La Romana, Dominican Republic. So if you are staying at that particular resort in the Dominican Republic anytime soon, if you have any plans to be there anytime before the end of this year, don't drink at the bar, because that's what's reported happened, at least with this last lady, 41-year-old Miranda. Now, Miranda actually died about 5 days before this other couple died. And the way the story goes, the way it's reported by her husband, is that she had just been at the bar, and I'm going to share the link with you so you can read it, because you guys know, listen, I don't want you to just take my word for everything that I say. I want you to do your own due diligence. And I want you to know so that you can speak about it intelligently as well, right? But what was reported in this particular instance with Miranda is that her husband said they had just got back to the room. They'd been at the bar. She had a drink. They were talking. They were there celebrating their 9th anniversary. And then suddenly and inexplicably, he says that she got kind of loopy and collapsed. And the next thing he knows, she was crying out in acute pain, it's described, and died. She died. Now, in the case of Miranda, it's reported that there was no toxicology report. Why is that? Why wouldn't they do a toxicology report? And not only was there no toxicology report, but it's also said that her husband says that this resort never tested her glass or the drink. Why? You would think that that would be something that they would want to know if they really wanted to get to the bottom of what happened with this lady. Now, listen, I know tourism is a thing, and I'm not surprised that they would put dollars before humans, but I'm just saying, I'm hopeful that when these bodies, 3 of them now, make it back to the U.S., that the families will be able to have their own independent autopsy done and determine what happened to their loved one. But, I just have all kind of questions, you guys, because this is another country, right? And I don't know how they get down over there. You don't know what kind of condition they're going to return your loved one's remains in. Are they going to do something to the body, that'll make it impossible or difficult to determine exactly what it was that happened? I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of concerns. And so for, my family that travels to the DR, be careful. Gary's reporting to me that there was a white female that was severely beaten. And yeah, Gary, I know about that. That happened back in January, where this lady said on Facebook, it's reported that she was severely beaten, and there were pictures of her. And, so there's actually then 4 people who have been subject to some kind of shenanigans in the DR. Now, the lady who said she was severely beaten, I don't know where that occurred. I don't know if it was in La Romana or not, but I don't know how big the DR is because I've never been. But I'm just saying, for me, anywhere in the DR, I'm good. You guys know me, I like Hong Kong anyway. So yeah, unless they start doing that kind of foolishness in Hong Kong, I'm good. I've got somewhere to go and vacate, right? Anyway, that's what's going on, and just wanted to give you another update on that situation. 4 people now involved in shenanigans in the DR, so be careful. Over in Michigan, this is kind of good news. Michigan is on the verge of passing some ordinance over there that will criminalize folks who call the police on folks who look like me, right? There is a ordinance that's being considered that would make it a criminal misdemeanor to racially profile, they say people of color, I'm gonna just say Black folks, because I guess it could happen to more than just Black folks, right? It could happen to Hispanics and Asians and, a whole host of others, Middle Eastern people, right? Folks of color. Anyway, it will be a criminal misdemeanor for non-crimes and any other petty reason if you call the police and don't have a legitimate reason to do so. If this passes, you are subject to a $500 fine. So it's not a done deal, but it's in the works, and that's over in Michigan. So for those of you who live in Michigan, pay attention as this law is being discussed and debated and potentially passed, so that if you have an opportunity to be somewhere and speak on it, you need to be somewhere and speak on it. I'm an advocate for having your voices heard. You can't complain about stuff being done if you don't show up. So it's not a done deal, but they're definitely discussing it. And that's not the only place where they're talking about creating some type of a law that would people from doing that. And listen, I said all along, while they're coming up with these laws, and whatever the penalty is going to be, $500 fine. Over in Oregon, there's a state rep by the name of Janelle Bynum who's also having some debates and discussion about that very thing over in Oregon. And what she's trying to do is set up a situation where victims of these errant 911 abusers, the victims can sue that person in small claims court for $200. That's all great and good too. But here's what I don't want to see them do. I want to see them throw in the resources that are redirected and the salaries for those resources. Because listen, if you had to pay for 3 or 4 or 6 police officers and a supervisor that might winds up showing up because you are playing on the phone, yeah, that'll stop it. I don't know, somebody might be willing to take the risk for $250. That's not a whole lot of money. But on top of that $250, throw in the salaries of those emergency service personnel who get redirected and who aren't able to help people who are really in need. Yeah, I'd like to see that. So if you guys get a chance to go and have your voices heard, tell them you want that thrown into the legislation, and let me know how it works. Let me know how that works. Yeah, Gary, you scratching DR off your list. I hear you. Just checking your comments as you come on and join me. Now that you're here, everybody that's here, I need you to share this on your timeline so that others can hear what we're talking about, particularly folks in Michigan and Boston. They need to know what's going on. Now listen, while there's a price to pay for folks who abuse the 911 system, understand this, because it's almost like there's dueling, legislation being thrown back and forth. And so know this, the Supreme Court just made it easier for the police to arrest folks in some places, if you film them. Okay, so if you film them, that means you're recording them, right? So this is why in my mind, are they convoluting this on purpose so that, you know, people don't really understand? You guys, that's why it's so important for you to do your due diligence and understand these laws. But here's what I also found, is that the Supreme Court just made it easier for police to arrest you when you're filming them. Now, here's how they do it. And they give this example. For instance, if you are at a demonstration of some sort, if you're protesting, and if the officers arrest you for a minor infraction, or better yet, if you are involved in a minor infraction like jaywalking or, you know, blocking the sidewalk or whatever foolishness they come up with, that's really a violation, right? Minor, albeit, but a violation. And if the officers have a legitimate reason to arrest you for that cause, you can't turn around and then sue them for being retaliatory. You can't say that they're harassing you or they're just messing with you because, you know, you're protesting and filming them in the midst of that protest. Anyway, I don't know, since this is a Supreme Court decision, it sounds to me like Supreme Court, that means that covers all 50 states. Does that conflict with what they're saying in Boston? Does it conflict with what they're saying you can do in Chicago? I don't know. But you need to be clear. You need to be clear so that you don't get caught up. Oh, hey, Alan, welcome. Sandy, Anthony, Barry, welcome. I appreciate you guys for joining me. And now that you're here, let me just ask you to do this, because somewhere on your screen, it's going to say like this broadcast or share this broadcast, subscribe to this broadcast. I need you to push one or all of those buttons, whatever it is you see. I need you to push it for me, because I'm going to be launching a subscriber campaign, you guys, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in the broadcasts to come. But I really have a very specific goal in mind, and I'm hoping you will help me reach it. Particularly, I'm talking about right now on YouTube. For those of you who don't do YouTube, and I don't need you to do it on the regular, I just need you to go there when I'm done here. I need you to go to YouTube and create an account if you already don't have one. I need you to subscribe to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. Because what I've heard is that there are some perks and benefits that will come if I meet a certain benchmark with regard to subscribers on YouTube. And, you know, a lot of you have been talking to me about, you know, hey, Sergeant Dorsey, you should have your own talk show, or you should, you know, have your own TV show, or whatever kind of show it is you want me to have. You understand, I enjoy doing what I'm doing, right? And I've got some opportunities in front of me that will get me in a studio where I can produce my own content. Although I think I do a pretty good job right here in my own little space producing content. But I want to take it to the next level. So I need you to help me. I need you to go to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks, SGT, Dorsey Speaks. And you know what? Let me just see if I can't help you. I'm scared to do it. If I can help you get there. Sergeant Dorsey Speaks on YouTube, because I know you guys sometimes, you know, you remind me of my children, and you don't always do what you're told, right? If you just did what I said, everything would be all right. But I'm going to make it very easy for you. I'm going to even give you the link so that you will know how to find me on YouTube. And then you can just go there. So let's see if I can do this while I'm talking to you. And I'm going to multitask here, so bear with me. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Sergeant Dorsey Speaks on YouTube. I'm going to give you the link, and then I need you to subscribe. I need you to subscribe to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks on YouTube, because I'm trying to reach a benchmark. So there you go. You have the link. Go over, create an account if you don't already have one. Subscribe to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. Tell everybody that you know to subscribe to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. Hey, James, thanks for sharing that link with me. I really appreciate that. And I got a couple of other things that I want to share with you also, because, I have a speaking tour that I do. And for anyone who may want some information about Sergeant Dorsey Speaks on the road, because I'm going to be doing some of that as well. I'm going to share a link with you there, and you can go to this particular website and get a little bit of more information about how to get me to talk to your young people about how to be safe, how to comport themselves when they're dealing with the police. You can also email me, sergeantdorseyspeaks@gmail.com, and ask me any questions that you might have. I've had a couple of people reach out to me with some things that were going on personally, and they had some questions about what to do. And listen, I'm not an attorney, but I do have some friends that I can refer you to if you have a situation. So sergeantdorseyspeaks@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, find me there. And then my website that I just shared with you is a good source for what it is that I do, because remember a couple of weeks ago I had a lady ask me, who are you? Who are you? So you can find out exactly who I am and what I do, and get some information about my autobiography, Creation of a Social Advocate, Black and Blue, Creation of a Social Advocate. Okay. Now, next story. This is something that's going on here locally, but I'm going to share this link with you because I don't know if this is a done deal or not. But there was a lady who came into the LAPD station in Van Nuys, and she reported that she was the victim of human trafficking. I don't mean to laugh. She said she was a victim of human trafficking. And so they were taking her very seriously because, listen, this is nothing to play with. And I'm going to share this link with you because I believe there is a picture of the suspect, right? There's a picture of the suspect. And what happened is, according to this young woman, is that she was approached by someone, and I don't know, listen, this almost sounds like a business deal gone bad. My LAPD family, you understand exactly what I mean, right? Business deal gone bad. But she says that she was approached by some guy and something about, he had loaned her some money or she loaned him some money. And then the next thing you know, he's trying to force her into prostitution to repay the loan. Business deal gone bad? I don't know. Did he loan money to a couple of other people and was trying to force them into a situation where they'd have to pay their loan back? I don't know. But there's a picture of this guy, and evidently LAPD Van Nuys Division vice officers want to talk to him. So I'm sharing that story so you can see his picture, because listen, I don't know how you guys get your ears. I don't know if anybody's out there borrowing money from old boy. But if you borrowed some money from him and you see this picture and recognize him, understand he may be trying to put you out to find other means to repay that loan. So I just wanted to share that. Hey, Mona, welcome from Baton Rouge. I appreciate you for joining me. There's also a lot going on. Okay, you guys, here we go. There's a lot going on and being said about the Netflix series, When They See Us. Now, I haven't seen it. I don't know if any of you have. If you've seen it, I'd like to know, what you think about it. I'm not, based on what I'm hearing from folks on social media, I don't know that I'm personally ready for it. Having done what I did for so long, I personally am not surprised by any of what I'm hearing people say happened or is depicted in the movie, because I know this to be true because I kind of saw that happen, right? Saw people get falsely arrested, saw folks, being questioned in a way that didn't seem like it was quite right, right? You guys watch First 48, you know what's up. You never talk to the police, particularly without, if you're a young person without a parent, you always demand that your parent be present, because listen, whenever the police say, I just want to know what's going on. We just want to get to the bottom of it. They don't have to be honest with you. They can even lie to you and say, if you just tell us the truth, you'll probably be able to go home. None of that is true. You always, always, always want to have, if you're a minor, you want to have your parent there. And if you're an adult, you want to have an attorney. That's your right. And so listen, people can think what they want, but you have an absolute right to have representation there with you, because police are trained and they're savvy, and they know how to ask questions and how to couch a question in such a way that can get you got if you're not paying attention. And so now, because of all what's being said about this movie, there's a lot of fallout, if you will, from the prosecutor who was responsible, sounds like single-handedly, for putting these young men in jail, because she coerced and probably had them for long hours, and maybe they were hungry, maybe they were tired, and asking them. And at some point you'll say and do anything if you just want to get out of there and go home. If you're frightened and people are telling you, if you say anything, you can get out of here and go home. So now there's a lot of, there's actually like a campaign, hashtag cancel Linda Fairstein is her name, Linda Fairstein, cancel Linda Fairstein. I think she's retired now, and she went on to become some kind of a mystery novel writer based on, sounds like, her career as a prosecutor, the stories that she's writing about. And folks are bringing a lot of attention to her, in so much that she has now stepped down from several boards of organizations that she was connected to, charitable organizations. She was on their boards. And so she has stepped down because of all the backlash. And so whatever you guys are doing is working. Keep it up. So far, she stepped down and resigned from her position on a board called God's Love We Deliver, Joyful Heart Foundation, and she was also on some board at Vassar College. That's not all that she's involved in, because folks are contacting Barnes and Noble and other places where her books are being sold, and telling them to get her books off the bookshelf. So for those of you who've seen the movie and you know what I'm talking about, and you feel a certain way about Linda Fairstein, hashtag cancel Linda Fairstein, people are listening. People are listening. People are paying attention. And I think it's reprehensible that she would be able to financially benefit off the backs of these young men and others. There's also a call for every case that she's been involved in should be reviewed and probably thrown out, because listen, when a police officer, just like a prosecutor, is shown to be dishonest in pursuit of a thing, that means everything that they have touched is tainted, and therefore is subject to being thrown out. Hey, Shaz. Hey, Shaz. Yeah, girl, I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I gotta, we'll see. But listen, I'm channeling Shaz. I'm channeling my inner Shaz today. You can text me and let me know how I did, right? I did my best. I was thinking about you and laughing as I was, getting all glammed up for today. So I appreciate the inspiration. Hey, Sherman, welcome. Nice to see you here. Yeah, Lisa, the prosecutor I heard is saying that the person who finally admitted to guilt and whose DNA was found connected to that robbery, that rape that the Central Park Five did time for, the prosecutor said, well, I think those boys knew him. She's doubling down. She's not remorseful. She is not believing from that statement that they actually didn't have anything to do with it. She's saying that somehow she thinks Linda Fairstein is saying somehow she thinks that the boys had some kind of a relationship, a connection to the person whose DNA was found and who ultimately pled guilty. And so, yeah, listen, if you guys are sitting around waiting on them to be honest, to feel remorse, to give a damn about what they do to us, you might be waiting for a minute. So I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time in that area if I were you. I'd just start making those phone calls and sending text messages and emails and going to Facebook profiles for Barnes and Noble and every other book store where Linda Fairstein's books are being sold. Cancel Linda Fairstein. So anyway, it's working. There was a Decatur, Alabama police officer who was caught on video recently, and I'll share this link with you as well. He was, doing what they do, and the young man who he had stopped was asking for, his name, which you have a right to do. He asked for his name, and I think he asked for a supervisor, and the officer became profane with him, and the officer refused to ID himself. Actually, when the young man, asked him what was his name, he said his name was F.U. That was his name. And he refused to get a supervisor. So understand that's your right to have a supervisor present. You can certainly ask for one, but listen, don't put yourself in harm's way. Don't jeopardize your well-being and safety. The end game should be to survive that police encounter, to get home safely at the end of whatever that is. So let them do what they're going to do. Let them do their job, right? Let them do what they're going to do. Survive the encounter, comply, complain, and get a good attorney. That's what you do. And so now this video is out there, and this officer's got some explaining to do. But listen, it's Decatur, Alabama. Decatur, Alabama. I'm not really sure if much is going to get done, but nonetheless, create a paper trail. Create a record, because that's not the first time, and my guess is it won't be the last time that officer in Decatur, Alabama will treat you poorly and then tell you when you want to follow up and complain that his name is F.U. And by F.U. you understand I'm not saying what he really said, right? Okay, next story. This is a story of survival, a will to live. There was a young man. I'm saying young man because maybe I'm dating myself, you guys, when I start talking about people 40 and I say young man. I don't want you to think what you're thinking, but nonetheless, there's a gentleman. He's 34 years old, and his name is Terry Smith. And Terry Smith someone was trying to rob him. I guess this guy was trying to rob him. He was on some kind of a 3-country crime spree, and I'm going to share the link with you so that you can read and see a little bit more about it. But this guy was on a 3-city, 3-state crime spree when he encountered 34-year-old Terry Smith. And this guy winds up shooting Terry Smith 18 times. He shoots him 18 times. This was back in March. And 3 of the shots hit Terry in the head, 1 in the face. He was hit multiple times in the chest, both arms, but thankfully none of the bullets damaged any of his major organs or blood vessels. And so Terry Smith, he's got a strong constitution. He was able to drive himself out of that scene. He remained awake and alert, and when he got to the hospital, they said he was still even talking to the doctors. They eventually identified, so I'm assuming that they arrested this shooter who's 25 years old, and his name is not important, but it is reported that he was involved in a 3-state crime spree, beginning with the shooting of a woman over in Georgia. He robbed a gas station in Alabama, and then went on to do something in the French Quarters. He was using a Glock 9mm doing all of these shenanigans before he encountered Terry Smith. And so very happy to hear that this gentleman was able to stay focused and get himself to some help. And listen, this was back in March, so he's may not be 100%, but he's doing okay at this point. So just wanted to share that story with you. Okay, so now a little celebrity foolishness. R. Kelly back in the news. The DA in Chicago has filed 11 new sex-related charges against R. Kelly, and these charges come from someone who's described as an ex-employee who testified before a grand jury provided them with some additional video that this person had, and evidently they must have kept a copy for themselves, because now it's reported that Kim Fox has a copy and the feds also have a copy. But these new charges, these new 11 charges against R. Kelly, include 4 counts of aggravated criminal sexual assault, 2 counts of criminal sexual assault by force, 2 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse, 3 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse against a victim between the ages of 13 and 16. And sounds like these charges all involve just one person. So these are on top of the 10 counts that he's already facing, 10 aggravated sexual abuse counts. And these new charges, if found guilty, carry a maximum of 30 years in prison. So this ex-employee has testified before the grand jury in the Northern District of Illinois and has said that there are multiple tapes that Kelly had having sex with these minors. Everybody in his camp knew he was doing it. Some of them facilitated his efforts to have sex with these young girls. It was reported by this same ex-employee that R. Kelly paid that person a large amount of money for him to give over the tape. Well, he gave over the tape, he got the money, but it sounds like he kept a couple of copies. So now this employee is talking. And so now, it's not just the girls, it's not, just the girls where people are trying to say they wanted to get paid and they're trying to come up and they whatever. These are people who used to actually be in his employ who were facilitators and probably who didn't want to get caught up. And so now they're telling about what's going on. So that's going on with R. Kelly. I don't know how big this hole is going to ultimately be that he is digging, they are digging for him. But in addition to that, there are also federal investigations going on right now against R. Kelly in New York's Eastern and Southern districts, where he's facing multiple sexual abuse charges. So that's that. And then in other stick a fork in him, he's done news, because I think R. Kelly is done, right? And now we have confirmation that Jussie Smollett is done. Stick a fork in him. Lee Daniels has reported that he's not coming back to Empire. There was some talk initially that Jussie might come back in flashback scenes, but now Lee Daniels is saying that no, he's not coming back. And listen, I knew he wasn't coming back. I mean, I knew it all along. And then eventually when I heard that Disney bought Fox, I knew it was a wrap, because Disney does not play with their branding. And so I didn't expect him to come back. Hey, Joseph, thanks for checking in. I appreciate you. For those of you that are here, share this on your timeline. Tell a friend. Like, follow, subscribe to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks on Facebook, on YouTube, and subscribe to my podcast, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks, on the podcast platform of your choice. Thank you. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here, but I wanted to share this with you because this is kind of cool. There's a lot of new firsts in the news last week, and some of these firsts involve girls. Yay! Girls rock this week. There is the very first female band director at Grambling, and her name is Dr. Nicole Roebuck. Also, the very first Black student body president at Yale in their 318-year history, Khalil Green, a junior. The very first women in the pit, two of them, two females in the pit for the prestigious opening of the Daytona 500. One of the females is named Brianna Daniels, and the other one is named Brianna O'Leary. And I guess they were kind of buds, they're pals. And sounds like they're roommates because they were going through this and coming up together in the whole NASCAR thing. And so this is the first time that two females have been in the pit. And it's reported that Daniels is going to change the front tires for some driver named Cody Ware. He's in a Chevrolet. and Brianna O'Leary will change the tires on the back. So that's really cool. And then last but not least, Serena Williams is reported to be the first athlete to ever make the Forbes list of richest self-made women in America. So that's all good stuff, right? Girls rock, girls rule. Thank you to everybody who stopped by to listen, to say hello, to join in. I appreciate you. You know, I want to share this with you because I want you to mark your calendars, right? I want you to mark your calendars because Sergeant Dorsey Speaks is going to be moving from Wednesday to Thursday. And it will probably begin as early as next week on Thursday. You want to know why? You know, I was telling you about this whole thing that I was being considered for. Well, it sounds like it's about to go down. I have on tomorrow a cast rehearsal, and then on Monday, a dress rehearsal. And they are going to start to film in earnest this live TV show on Wednesday, and it will run for the next 7 Wednesdays. We'll be filming. So it's going to conflict with my Sergeant Dorsey Speaks live on Wednesday, and I'm going to have to move it back a day. Still not able to tell you exactly more detail about this TV show, but I'll tell you it's on a major network. 2, 4, 7, 11, 13. It's on one of those. And I'm really excited about it. So as soon as they give me the okay, and maybe tomorrow they might, I don't know. But as soon as they give me the okay. Hey, Tara from New York, what's up? Hey, Vernon, little muffin man. What's up? You good, Vernon? I'm going to call you later because I was thinking about you. But moving to Thursday because of the TV show, not at liberty to speak on it just yet. As soon as they give me the green light to share that with you, I will, because listen, I'm going to need all of you to be watching it so that we get beyond that first 7-week trial period that they have set up so far. So as soon as I am able to share more with you about that, I will. And yeah, Shaz, no St. Martin, girl. That's a whole nother thing. I can't even talk about my I was invited to a book fair in St. Martin, you guys, and something about your people, our people, my people. That's a conversation we're going to have, Shaz, just you and me. You and me. I'll tell you what happened with that when we talk, sister girl. I appreciate you. But anyway, so next Thursday, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks next Thursday, live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, next week, Thursday. Mark your calendars, tell your friends, set your alarm clock, and I will remind you that I am switching up my day, and it will be Thursday going forward. So I appreciate you for sticking with me. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your words of encouragement. I appreciate you sharing stories with me to help make my broadcast diverse and varied in terms of my content. And don't forget, go to YouTube, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks, subscribe to my channel. I am creating a subscribers campaign, if you will, trying to reach a milestone, and I'll let you know as I get close to it. But I need you, I need your friends, I need your family, I need your pets. I need all of you to go to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks on YouTube and subscribe. So listen, you guys, that's it. Listen, until next time, be good, be safe.